will shine through. I would tell myself that thank God that he is God, because God has had to keep his hand on me. I mean, to the point now, looking back, like where we are now with the podcast, that's saying a lot. And two, thank God for keeping me, because quiet as it is kept, it is now no longer a secret, but your girl tried to commit suicide twice in the house that I live in now. So that was a big thing, was me moving back here was, can you move to the point of where your hurt resides? And so I'm thankful that, God really kept me and did not let the suicide attempts go through, that they were failed attempts. Because I definitely would have missed out on these 4 amazing human beings who have changed my world for the better. My niece, my nephew, and my 2 grandkids. Like, had I committed suicide and it worked, I now know, what I would have missed, the life I would not have, and missing out on those 4 people who have changed my world forever.
Welcome to the Love Is Podcast with your host, that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, and her co-host, the lovable a-hole, that's right, I said lovable, Mr. DK Walker, where they will be discussing love, relationships, family, life, sex, self-help, and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because love is everything, and everything should be loved. Now to today's podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's your girls, that Thorny Chick, Karen KK Rose, alongside, you already know, it's the lovable asshole, Mr. DK Walker. DK Walker, tell the people hello.
Hello, people.
I'm going to need you to put a little bit more energy in these hellos.
Yeah. How's it going, people? What's popping? What's happening? What's going on? What's shaking? What it do? How's it hanging?
No, don't say that.
Why not? I mean, for a guy, how's it hanging? You wouldn't ask another guy that, but, you would ask a female, and then if she, smart, she's like, well, my nipples are no longer closer to my thighs since I got this great bra. But, I digress.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
You got to stop God
hold me, Jesus, hold me.
God just know I'm an idiot, right? There's something to say anything out my mouth at any given time. So with that being said, it is what it is.
The joy of us not sharing an office is I ain't got to worry about my hair.
What do you mean?
Should God strike you down with lightning and all the products in this Bama? Yeah, I'm not going in flames.
Oh,
you'll just be crispy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I do need a makeover. I do need a makeover, right?
I smell chicken.
It's quite all right. Exactly. See, that's that reverse racism. Like, black people taste like chicken.
How's that reverse racism? Because I'm light.
Because you light as hell, right?
Oh,
so
here we go.
This is terrible, man. Let me remind you that Black Lives Matter.
I'm so happy that people have now heard your light skin jokes. I'm so happy.
People like, come on, man. Anybody knows me, everything's a joke. Like, yeah, that's what's wrong with people nowadays. You're too serious. Lighten up, laugh. I mean, laugh at stuff like.
Sure are still in style. It's okay.
Do you wanna? Do you wanna? My man Albie, I like Albie. I mean, he was a man. And Christopher Williams.
That's his cousin.
Yeah, they don't get me wrong. They was killing the back in the gap. I know I just dated myself, right? But I promise you, them 2 doggone beige colored Negroes, they was killing the back in the gap. I guarantee you that.
Hey, and then our boy came through.
Who?
Hev.
Who?
Hev.
Nah, but see, I don't even look at Hev as a light skinned Negro. I don't.
How?
Because he was light skinned. He had good hair.
Child,
but the rest. Let me finish. But the
child for light skin.
Nah. Let me break it out. He didn't have light skin tendencies, right? Because he had physically he pink lips, right?
Mm.
Light skin hair. I mean, light skin, and then good hair, right? Not a problem. So that's that whatever good hair is. Let me say that whatever good hair is, because I don't believe in that because I don't.
All right, Spike Lee. Okay. We got you. School days moment. Yeah, good hair, bad hair. We got that. How does he not have
Stop. Stop. What you ain't gonna do, Missy, with your ratchet ass is stop me when I'm in the middle of we're not gonna do that. We gonna respect your elders, right? That's what you gonna do. See, that's that light skin shit, right?
Here we go.
Well, light skinned people, like right, like I'm still going for like the last podcast. Light skinned people be having borderline white privileges problems. That's what y'all. That's right. I said it. Light skinned people be having borderline white people privileges. Like y'all do. Y'all think because you light skinned you're special. Like no, there ain't nothing special about your monkey ass. You black too, right? And to get back to the head joint, you know what I mean? So yes, physically he was light skinned, but he was just everything else was just nigga about him. I mean, black nigga, really, right? You know, so you take the glasses off. He was cockeyed. He was a handsome cockeyed dude that, you know, that's a black thing, a dark skinned black thing, right? His whole swag was that of a dark skinned dude. He never played it like I'm this light skinned cat, you know, chicks. He never played that card, right? Just something he didn't do. If you go back, because I was like a head fan, still am, right? And he was like, you know, really dope on the microphone. Yeah, I mean, he made great, and his music is timeless. So you can throw in a heavy D joint, and it's gonna rock out at any party. Even a person be like, "Oh, this is new." No, this is really old, but it still rock like it's new. So no, shout out to shout out to here, rest in paradise. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was physically light skinned, but he ain't have y'all tendencies. You know.
What does that mean?
Light skinned people are sensitive. Like I said earlier in the previous podcast, I believe that, light skinned women and they'll be like, you can't put us in, you can't group us all together, and I'm only speaking from past experiences. Like I've then had most interesting sex with the light skinned female. Now, if you're going to read between the lines, yes, I've had the most freakiest sex with light-skinned females. So, y'all got extra kink in y'all. Y'all cut different from a different cloth. We still love y'all. We still claim y'all, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what are these, borderline white privileges that I get? Because clearly I don't know. So tomorrow I'm going to act real different.
No. Let me help you out, right? So, No, and this is like, we know there's colorism amongst black people. Let's not, right. Now that's my serious tone, right? So let's not act like it's not colorism. So when you go looking at certain things, we always equate light skin with being beautiful, right? We recently just got on the dark queen. We recently just got on that. Back in the day, you have to give me, I'm 50. So coming up, that was always, if you got a light skinned chick, how you get the red bone? Like she could be ugly because they act like there's no ugly light skinned people. And I'm not judging, right? Because I don't think, I ain't all that. I used to be, them days gone. It is what it is. But you got ugly ass light skinned people too, right? But if you, back in the day, I don't care what she looked like. She could be mud duck, butt fuck ugly. You come around the block with a red bone, they like, oh, you came up, oh, do you see her face? But because she light skinned, it's like, and once again, that's instilled us because we think light is better. Now, God forbid you come around the block with a white chick. Oh my God, you didn't care. How you put your hand in the cookie jar, boy? How you do that? Like, first of all, this is not the plantation, right? So calm your silly ass down, Samuel Jackson. But yeah, I'm not being divisive in that. I'm just stating obvious facts within, black society. We do still suffer from believing that, light-skinned people are better because of they're more closer to white people. It's sad, but true. We don't really rock hard like that, like we used to. But back in the day, oh my God. And then the part that kills me because you're opposite, right? Because, no disrespect to you, but you're bright as fuck. You're bright, not a problem. But back in the day, females, they went out their way to get a light-skinned dude. What? Like you could be everything they wanted, but if you wasn't light enough, your hair wasn't curly, you know what I mean? If you ain't had that little that Debarge thing, that Debarge mystique about you, wasn't nobody checking for your ass. You looking like Lord, you sitting on the sideline like this some bullshit. This is some real live bullshit, But I'm glad that the pendulum has swung back in brown skin to dark skin in people's favor. But I will say this moving forward, all jokes aside, don't go out your way to rock with a person because of the melanin in their skin, right? Don't be like, okay, she light, so I gotta have her, or she rock with a person because they're dope. Like real, like if they feed into, if they speak directly into your spirit, you know what I mean? If, you can drink from their cup of tea and you like the flavor, rock with them because of those attributes. Don't be just stuck on skin color and think you're winning. Don't if that's the case, then if that's your mentality, then you're uber shallow.
I like the way you comb your hair. And I like the stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things.
Hey. America may have talent, but you don't. Anyway, what's popping with you?
This coming from you is rich, sir.
What? Like, see, that's the difference between, like, you see what you just did there? How you, hey, that Ari Janet Jackson bullshit? I like the way you give me hair.
Listen,
And
I'm
I
sure
like
Elder
the
Barge
stuff
would
that
rather me not butcher his song.
Anything you do, it shows how much you really care. And when I'm all, get the
See
fuck
that right
out of
there? See
here.
that right there?
Get the kick rocks and break your toes.
Hater.
Stop it. Like, if you see, that's the difference. When I sing, I know I can't even hold a note. If a note was a physical thing, I still couldn't hold it. It'd jump on my arms and run. That's how much I can't hold a note, right? That's why I sing loud. Like, I'm letting me know I can't sing. So I'm going to sing loud so you know that I'm not trying to take myself seriously. You, on the other hand, you come in that joint.
Hater. Just hater status. It's okay.
What? What'd you say?
Hater status. It's okay.
So, like, how does, the truth, like, people kill me, you tell the truth and now you're hating. You tell the truth and, like, I'm telling, you're a hater. Oh, because I told the truth, I'm hating, right? That's just it. The truth has no friend. I promise you. Like, the truth is I think the truth itself is the most hated thing known to man because nobody wants to deal. It's cool though. It's all right. And that's another light skin, tendency. Y'all be having them, y'all thin skin. So, y'all poke fun. Y'all get pouty mouth and be like, why are you talking bad about me? You if all of y'all, that's right. If all of y'all don't sit down. Be quiet. Be humble.
All right, Kendrick. All right.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
All right, Kendrick. Are you done? You finished?
Yeah, that was my hello to the peoples. I was good. And then I gave him the hello and you was like, you come in with this low energy. Like, come on, man. First of all, like what you call me? No. What you call me a couple of podcasts ago? You said something to the fact that I was a sundowner. So I took my sundowner.
Sundowners. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I made sure my sundowner ass got a 3-hour nap. Like, it's borderline, like, cause I usually just average 4 hours of sleep. So I'm like, okay, we got podcasts to do tonight. I'm gonna come in, feed my face. I checked on the fam. And it's crazy. I'm so wrong. I ran my wife off the couch so I can get on it. Like, ain't no sleeping on the couch. You got a bedroom. Like, she looked at me like, yeah, I'm like, I'm only giving you what you give me. And we do that to each other because we want to be downstairs in front of the TV chilling. And so she, cursed me out. She went upstairs. I jumped in the shower. And as I jumped out the shower, I was like, do I want to go back downstairs and lay down? Or do I want to go to bed? I'm going to go get something to eat and I'm going to get in my bed because it's so much comfortable. So I woke up and I'm like, whoa, it's 6 o'clock. That was a good 3 hours. I feel, yeah. So the energy wasn't low. It was just, I was just trying to be low key. Just, hey, what's up, people? How's it going? This is DK Walker. Trying to hit people
with his midnight storm voice.
Right. No, it's Quiet Storm. Get it? See, you young heifer. It's Quiet Storm. You young whippersnappers don't even be knowing. Anywho.
Okay. And as you're waking up, I'm leaving the adult I know you want to say adult store. Hush your face. Hush your face. Hush your face.
Okay, we're not gonna put that out there.
Hush your face. The adult ice cream shop. No, I went to the adult ice cream shop.
What the hell is an adult ice cream shop?
So there's a guy in our city whose name is Isaiah Williams. Cool cat.
Hey, ho. Is he cutting the check? That was a free plug. Is he cutting the check? If he ain't cutting
I'm sure he can though. I'm sure he can if you let me finish.
But okay, it's the difference between that he can and does he? Like, you name drop and give him free drops, right? Like,
Well, I did on my social media today too. So if you let me finish.
Once again, the podcast ain't your operative word, your as in exclusively yours social media. But please let me not, yeah. What about this Isaiah cat? Why is he so dope? Holler at me.
Well, you would hush your face. I could tell you. So he has a food truck that serves Italian ice, kind of like a sorbet gelato type deal. But the kick of it is he puts liquor in it.
Is he dark skin or light skin?
Dark skin.
See, straight nigga move, my nigga.
So I took my adult kids to go. So my daughter and her sister went. We did take the grandson. He of course is. Where they're set up is really, really smart because they're doing like I want to say like a food truck coalition type thing. So they have a they have a page on Facebook, and so they let you know where they're going to be and all those kind of things. His is one of the most sought after food trucks. And so he sets up at the same spot on Thursdays. Well, typically I'm working on Thursday. And so I was off today. So I was like, y'all want to go? They said yes. So he was set up there actually having like an old school car show at the same time. So he's definitely making money over fist. So I got a mango sorbet deal with a bottle of Patron in it, the mini bottle. And my
So
kids,
you feeling right? Is you? That's why you extra sensitive because you no. You need a little
no.
bit more to get you right. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
asking for a friend.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
asking
no,
for.
no. The more Patron, the easier it is to like me. I
I
think I
I
think
started to go
I'm
so
less.
left with that,
I
right? Like I
know,
can't.
I know,
Jesus, I really started to go
because I
this
said
down
the
this
word
rabbit hole and
easy.
be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Because I said the word easy. I knew where you were going.
I mean, but like,
You're
like
so predictable.
certain things, I'm so far from predictable, hun. Like, let me slow this down for you and help you to understand me. Yes, you couldn't predict me if you had the answers. Thank you.
Just call me
So yeah,
weather.com.
I just thought like, I mean, but alcohol, a couple of things that bring out the true you, alcohol and cocaine. Like that's what I heard. I've never done, like if you're an
Listen, you press
asshole,
my
if
Bobby
you
Brown now all of a sudden.
that's my man. Like leave Bobby, give you Bobby Brown job, my man. Push your T. Look, so
You can
but like
party with
certain.
Bobby Brown and hold down. See how you
I
are?
mean, hey, somebody had to be, the go-to guy. I digress, but I'm joking. But those are the two things that I heard brings out the true you. Like, the
They
true you
say,
comes out
they
if you're drunk or if you
say,
high as fuck. Yeah.
they say a drunk man tells no tales. So I got Patron. My kids got Patron. My cousin came and he got Hennessy in his. Landon was there, my 2-year-old grandson, and
So how you? Never mind. We're not even
he
going.
got this. They have like a kids one that's like this rainbow type sorbet thing, and he puts on top of the sorbet, he puts like sprinkles and like those gummy sharks. And I thought about this. I was like, this is gonna be real interesting because when that sugar hit, let me tell you, homeboy all of a sudden became like Wile E. Coyote. He was running everywhere. So
Poor. Yeah.
yeah, so we had to take him
Did
for a
y'all at
walk.
least get the boy some water after that to
Heck
help
yes,
dilute?
yes. I took him for a walk. I threw him all the way around the yard and all that kind of stuff. And then you would text me, saying that you were up and ready to go. So then I was getting ready to leave. And he was trying to crawl into the car. I go.
Poor baby.
I was like,
The
no,
sugar crash.
go. Right. He was like, listen, somebody need to bathe me. Put me in my pajamas and hold me is where he was going. He was going with that.
He was high as hell off the like.
Oh yeah,
what y'all doing to my boy? This is terrible, man.
He was that sugar hit him, and he ate most of the candy. He didn't eat the sorbet. He definitely ate most of the candy. And when it hit, whoo! And that's the kind of energy you want. You want that energy. You look at it and you be like, if I could bottle that, do you know how much money I can make?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean?
You said you want that energy. Do I know how much money you could make? So I don't know what you mean. So I ask you, what do you mean?
Because when you get a certain age, your energy, listen to you with your sundowners. Do you know how much like a little drop of that would have helped you today? You could have skipped the nap. Just been like, say, just like those miracle drops for your hair. Just a drop crazy. Here. Spare you a nap. You can run, it's like limitless. It's like limitless.
I smell you. Look, but no, unbeknownst to you, I get more done before the sun gets up that you can even think that you be telling half the story. Yeah, once again, that's that light skin tendency. I'm always gonna show myself in the better light. Anyway, what's going on with you? What's popping in your life? What's going on? What's happening?
I haven't done anything crazy other than we went to the ice cream place today. That was it. I will say this though. As far as this COVID thing goes, they're debating right now if kids are going to go back to school or not.
Keep your kids home, people. Be smart.
Well, listen, Linda, listen. So the governor of Ohio,
do you know his name or her
Governor
name?
Governor DeWine. So a lot of Ohioans, when he comes on to, like when Corona first started, he would come on the air at the same time. So they were doing wine with DeWine. They all have shirts and glasses and all that kind of stuff.
Jesus, any excuse to drink.
Right. You locked in the house, like, and you stuck with your kids, and like TikTok.
Is that a bad thing? Like I'm when I'm home
in the
from
house
work,
and I'm in the house bored, bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Well, I guess I'm blessed. I digress. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. You only have one, so it's a little more manageable. When you have multiples, not so much.
Well, like my wife is a kid too, but
Listen, when Nikki burns the couch with you on it or something like that, listen, don't say we didn't warn you because you keep messing with her. But he actually was interviewed by CNN, was on Chris Cuomo's show, and everybody was praising him about what a great job he was doing. He really kind of has a hashtag that called Flatten the Curve that he really helped promote, because he was really in the forefront of keeping our state and cities not only alerted, but really trying to keep us as safe as possible. So our numbers were really, really low compared to a lot of the states around us. New York, Michigan, Indiana and so forth. And so now today he releases that he is positive for COVID and it's asymptomatic. So now everybody's like, okay, if you've been wearing a mask everywhere, you haven't been doing anything you're not supposed to be doing, social distancing and rah, then how in the hell did you get corona?
Like, I don't know. Like,
so
you might.
Now the city is all up in arms because they were like, if you did everything right, you got them. What the hell? Why in the hell do I have to do it then? Because clearly it doesn't matter.
But I digress.
Hush your face. So
I mean, you know me. That's a rabbit hole that, like, I joke and I kid about a lot of subjects, and to open up those kind of worms, I promise you, our listeners be like, yeah, I used to like that podcast, but this guy's gone down this rabbit hole, and 10 years later, he's still talking about COVID. We have spaceships now. E.T. when he came home, he's still talking about COVID. So, like, I mean, my thing is, man, just be
as safe as possible.
I mean, but okay, so you say that, but the governor was safe as possible and he still got it. So, like, man, okay. Like, listen, I'm not even gonna throw in my 2 cents because I don't go out my way to be controversial. I'm a common sense dude. Like, I'm not deep. Like I tell you, I'm fat. I can never be like, I can't wax deep. I'm fat. I can wax wide, right? I haven't said that in a minute. But I'm just a common, like, I adhere to common sense 101, right? Like, if it walks like a dog, barks like a dog, smells like a dog, licks his own ass like a dog. I mean, what are we talking about here, right? So, anyway, I pray that he
he's
gets well soon.
So he doesn't feel anything,
right? But he still needs a quarantine, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I guess he's gonna be doing his daily press conference from home on Zoom. So now, and the other thing is, like, last week he passed a ban. So the city had opened it back up and and so last week, with the numbers coming back up, which is true, it is. From my point of view, I work in the ER, so I see it every day. Have to be very concerned about still how we go about and having my own scare and but he put a ban through last week that banned bars from selling liquor after 10 p.m. Now, I don't think they have to close per se. They just can't sell liquor after 10 p.m. Which,
and I think that may be, I'm about to cut you off. That may be a statewide, United States, because same thing here in Maryland, like, so I'm not pretty sure how many states adopted that, but yeah, it's definitely like that in Maryland. So of course the running joke is that, so that means I got to get drunk before 10 o'clock, not a problem. Right. So it is what it is.
And now the ER is seeing all their drunk patients after 10 p.m. because, trust me, we had one yesterday and the day before. Like, and when it's excessive because, the squad of the EMS has to bring them in, or the police. So it's great. It's a great fun time. But so I don't know what we're going to do moving forward because, like I said, the schools have already rolled out, that they're going virtual until at least the end of the fall. To reconsider, when spring comes and what they're going to, I think at the beginning of the new year.
Welcome to the new normal, people.
I think they were, going to try to decide what we're going to do in January if the kids are going to go back.
Life. Adapt. Welcome to the new normal.
I like your subliminal messaging there.
Like I said, I'm trying my best not to go down the rabbit hole, but you keep going, so it's kind of hard. Like,
I was just giving my point of view. I wasn't asking for yours.
Well, once again, like, you don't have to ask. I'm gonna give it. I'm a giving person.
True. You are.
You don't gotta ask me shit. I'm like, here you go. I didn't ask. I'm sorry. I was being presumptuous as usual.
Listen, don't go down the rabbit hole. Don't do it.
No, I wasn't. I'm about to bring up the speed with me. Nothing to report. It's the same old. Life is good, man. I'm in a good space. My energy is low. I need to be a little bit more productive. And that stems from working in the rain. Like, of course, if y'all don't know, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, shame on you. Where the hell have you been? But for those who do know, by day, I'm, friendly neighborhood, recycling man. And by night, I'm Lovable Asshole DK Walker, your favorite podcaster. And I think that, I've been, really tired these last couple of days because, rain, sleet, snow, recycling and trash gotta go. Like, so working in the rain, like it's pouring down.
Wait.
So you not only.
Did you just take the post office's motto?
It's the truth.
And turn it into the trash man motto?
They actually got that from us.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
I How you gonna call bullshit? Like, oh, stop.
I heard Ray to sleep. Wait.
No, I'm about to
Ray
help you.
sleeps. No, the mail must go.
Can I just help you out? Because you real giggly, like you in your teens, like you pushing 40, and you giggly. Like, let me help you out, right? In your city, when they did a whatever lockdown, was the mailman still working?
Yes and no.
Yeah, you still got mail. Why are you hesitating, child? Yeah, you still got mail.
No, if you would let me finish my thought, because the orange person in office is doing something with the postmaster, so we weren't getting mail every day. We're still not getting mail every day. So the mail has changed.
What the hell? We get mail every day.
Oh, we don't here. Because and the thing is this, because
the hell y'all live at Zombieland?
So pretty much. Because the thing is this, what I noticed too is that like you, me, and the tribe all order from the same company for the CMOS. You and everybody on your side on that coast get your guys's way faster than us in Ohio. We get ours a week later.
I didn't want you to go into the whole breakdown. I was just trying to illustrate a point. So me trying to talk about the mail people where you live at isn't working. So let me ask you another question. Is the trash people still working in the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Right. I promise you. So like whether I stole that from the mail people or not, it's a truism. It's a truism in its most truthful form. Like no matter what the condition is outside, the earth could be cracking open. I promise you. You be down the street, you gonna pick up my trash. Like you don't see that the earth is split in half. You worry about your goddamn trash. Like people, but you think how worse. And I'm not bigging, what I do up. I promise you, I'm not. But you would think how worse things would be if everything stopped. Not only would you have COVID, right? Then you have a rat infestation. So when I tell you like trash got to go. I don't care what the conditions are outside. I don't care what the conditions are in your home life. Like when 3 o'clock roll around, feet got to be on the floor. You got to be pushing. So back to my original joint before I was rudely interrupted by, light skinned female that shall remain nameless.
Oh, no. We can address her. It's the Thorny Chic.
Yeah, and you're aptly named. It's always occurring in somebody's life that's with the bullshit, right? Pun intended. Look, it's always occurring, right?
Oh, the chat today, Lord, the chat.
Yo, we almost 30 minutes. We gonna get to a podcast because we've been going like this back and forth, and people are like, what are we talking about? Is there a podcast? Yes, we got something for y'all, man. Something a little different. Something a little something a little different, right? So, you want to get us cracking, or we going to keep giggling like, in high school?
You the one giggling. It wasn't me.
I'm a man. I don't giggle.
No, of course you don't.
Of course you don't. I giggle. I don't giggle. So it's a difference.
Okay. Yes. And you also said Karen, not Karen. So,
Like, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes. South DC. Yes, I do.
And Southeast. Get it straight. Southeast.
DC.
Southeast.
All right, we're going to move on to my favorite part of the show. Is that what the fuck news? So, DK.
Yes.
We have a question.
We do?
Yeah, we do. So, it's actually quite good. So, there is a question that we both have to answer. And listen to me because, you'll hear what I say and then go and can't count. Okay?
Say, hey. Say it again. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question. The question is very specific. Do what the question says. Do not deviate, okay?
So you're saying I'm not capable of following directions is what you're saying?
Correct.
Well, at least you're honest. I appreciate once again, you got to appreciate a person's
honesty. Exactly. You got to have those tough adult conversations.
Okay.
So the question is, what is uno? One. See, because you knew where, see? Because you started chuckling.
Like I can't count.
I do, right. Because you can't count. What is one thing that the podcasters don't know about, that the podcast listeners do not know about you? One.
So before I answer this question.
Because you're thinking too hard.
I'm not. I can't. I never think hard. All this shit is off the top of the head. That's like, I'm pretty sure people listen like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, once in a while I drop a nugget. So a question for your question before I answer your question.
Right.
Like, how deep are you? Because there's a lot of podcasts. If they listen continuously, they'll know my life story up until the point of that recording of the podcast. If they listen, because like we're unfolding our lives, but there's a lot they don't know. So how deep am I to answer this question?
It is at your discretion. Viewer
I'm being difficult
discretion.
for no reason.
Yes, as usual. Viewer discretion is advised. This is your discretion, sir. But it can only be one thing. You cannot tangent off. You cannot go down a rabbit hole.
Why can't I go like you?
Listen.
That's what's wrong with people now. Like, look how beautiful Alice's life was. Alice's life was beautiful, but she was not a rabbit hole.
You're not the Mad Hatter.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me. If I ain't the Mad Hatter.
You're not the Mad Hatter. You're the cat. You're the cat.
I'm insulted. She just called me a pussy. Anyhow.
Listen, I'm not going through the looking glass with you. Again, the question is, what is one thing the podcast?
Are you clapping? Like
yes.
You clapping like you dog scan?
Yep.
Okay. All right. One thing. One thing.
No tangents. No rabbit
Okay, so before I answer the question, right? Do I get the answer and then expound upon that one thing, or do I just answer and then?
Well, tell the one thing and then I'll decide from there.
The one thing. I mean, it's a rack of shit, man. A rack of shit. Yo, because it's been a minute since we gave people something like uber tangible. And I know I'm going to say this one thing and then you'll have follow-up questions and then I want to really help somebody. That's my thing. Like, we joke, we play, we kid. You know, I don't want anybody to be offended by the words that come out of my mouth that we don't want. But in the same doggone token, you know, our purpose here, our goal, our job is to help people in their current situations. And the one thing that I want to share with the podcast is something that, you know, very few people don't know about me, but something that I definitely wanted to bring to the podcast listeners and talk about. As a child, I was molested twice. That's my one thing.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to go that deep.
I asked you, you know, so you gotta, I tried to, and you wasn't helping me to guide it. But, you know, the reason I wanted to share that with the podcast is like, I really want to get into that story and about how I was carrying that luggage around. So I dropped the one thing. You want to help me peel this onion, or you just want to, you know, have your face stuck on stupid, and move on. I want to peel back the onion since I already, like, you know, brought it to the table.
Right. Let's get the samurai swords. I was going to do, since it's my, you know, we're going to do the volleyball.
Right. We're not going. Okay. Stop. Before we get into yours, like, I wanted to unravel mine, and then once I get finished unraveling mine, then we ask you your one thing. So instead of we going back and forth with each instance, let's go ahead and get me out the way. Since you was nice enough to be old men first instead of women first, I appreciate that. And so, you know, since I didn't open that, since I'm there now, I want to go ahead and get into it. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's age before beauty. So go right on ahead.
That's why your feet stink. Anyway. So sick of you.
I've had sandals on all day, so that doesn't even make sense.
You act like you between your toes ain't gummy. Like, stop it. Like, I promise you, if you get a cotton swab and put alcohol between your toes, it's going to come out black like mud. Anyway. Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
I did not walk around barefoot today. I had sandals.
You did. You just need to be pregnant in the kitchen somewhere.
Oh, that's so sexist.
Exactly.
So
if I can't be a sexy beast, I'm gonna be a sexist man. Anywho,
and look, I can't get pregnant. That's the funnier part about that whole joke.
Anyway, moving along, dear. Can we?
Yeah, go ahead with your samurai sword, Hanzo.
Yeah. So the reason that I wanted to bring this to the podcast, because like that was one of the many mental things that I was combating, right? Because once that happened to me, you know, like between the ages of 5 and 9, it's two separate instances, two family members. So the reason that I wanted to bring this to the podcast, because I've been carrying that weight with me until recently. It was like I could never see myself in the light of, you know, of being loved, right? It was always a hitch. I could never see myself in the light of being good enough because of I had this, and I blamed me, right? I blamed, like, the thing was I brought this upon myself. Like, I'm a dirty person, or I attracted, you know, these grown folk in my life to do what they did to me, right? And so when you be having that type of luggage on you, it weighs down in all areas of your life. You don't think that it's hindering you, but I promise you it does in every aspect and facet of your life, it actually, causes you to not be the best version of yourself. So recently, talking to family, talking to friends, shout out to my man Kenny and whatnot, we stayed going down rabbit holes. We didn't went down rabbit holes that was 6 hours deep. So, the banter me and Karen share is nothing, I promise you. So in talking to my circle, my clique, my crew, I had to realize during that point in time, that's first of all, that what happened to me wasn't my fault. Second of all, I need to let it go. Right. What I was doing in my life, I was being Linus with the blanket, and it wasn't an external thing. It was an internal thing. Like I would hold on to that because that identified me the most, that pain, that hurt, that, embarrassment. Like I was so embarrassed because usually males don't talk about that. Right. So you see, I think Tyler Perry had a moment. He was on the Oprah show. He started crying. It's rare that we speak of that, because we don't want to be looked at in a light. Like I didn't tell my father. Father would have did jail time if I did, right? I didn't tell anybody. I just, I'm gonna keep quiet, not because the people told me, to be quiet. It was just something I knew I could never share. But in me being quiet, me being silent, I was also helping them and not helping people that has happened to. I wasn't helping them because there's somebody out there that, has been assaulted, molested, and they're Walker, and nobody else knows. And so even if you're not going to, bring those people to justice, you at least get some help for yourself, to fully heal or let the healing process begin. Like I it was so many things that I was stopping my life from becoming. I would just settle. And I would always just play the shadows. I would always play the background because I was always afraid of people finding out and then being judged, right? And so I had to, a couple of things happened for me to, and this is recent. So like me tagging myself the lovable asshole and just speaking my mind freely, not really giving a rat's ass about another person's opinion. Me having that confidence and me letting go of the baggage of being molested, that was just recent. Like I had to stop living in the past because I was, you let me slow down. So as long as you hold on to something, it's still real within you because you're still harboring that energy. So you still feel that angst is still residing within you, right? But when you learn to let it go, then you can move forward. And I've held on this for years. I mean, years. And so I'm thinking I did myself a disservice because I could have been to where I'm going to much sooner if I would have learned just to let it go, to get help, to talk, to seek counseling, to realize that, I'm not at fault for this, to say the least. But the key turning point in me learning to let it go is like when I had my youngest daughter. Like, okay, when I met Nikki, got married and whatnot, she already had a daughter. I don't use the word step because if I feed you, you stay in my house, you mine. Whether I claim you on my taxes or not, if I take time out to talk to you, you mine. If I take time out to love you, you mine. If I take time out to wonder about your whereabouts, to tell you, to sow seeds in your life, whether you want to ignore them or whether you want to apply them, you're still mine, right? So, but when I had Mama, which is my youngest daughter, things change because, and the reason that things change, like no matter what I've done in life, right? Because there's much more to my story that I will, unpack sooner rather than later. She's always looked at me, and it's not even my favorite, character, but I always reference him because everybody, Man of Steel. My daughter always looks at me like I'm Superman. Like in her eyes, daddy can do no wrong. You know what I mean? And so that's a high bar. And so I couldn't be the best version of me still harboring on stuff that happened, 40 some odd years ago. Like, you got to stop. I got to start to live my best life, and stop, wallowing in the shame, the guilt that, accompanied that act because somebody, greater than me, which is my daughter, depends on me now. So she really needs me to see myself in a higher level, and to adjust my self-worth. Like I can see myself worthy. Like I should have been bought a house. My financial situation never changed. It had to be my mental. I didn't believe I deserved to own. And some people where's he going with this? Like you have to understand, like if you hold on to that inner pain, you don't believe that you deserve anything good that comes to you. You will minimize things. Like when I tell you bad news, or if you don't let it go, it affect every aspect of your life. Like I didn't believe that I deserve anything great happening to me. And when God blessed me with my daughter, like it was no greater gift than her. None, bar none. None. Don't get me wrong. She ain't a perfect child. Like she pushed all daddy buttons because she just like me. She pushed my buttons, look at me out my eye, like, yeah, you get that. It's all right. I understand you, man. So, but I had to like, okay, I need to move forward now because I was stuck. My whole life was stuck on, in a rut on replay. And so as she started to mature and grow, this thing that she deserved in life, she deserved to, be raised in a home. She deserved to be raised with a father that can love her, unconditionally, and I couldn't do that until I fixed what was inside of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you, I have like a ton of questions now. Do you think if you would have brought it up sooner, you would have gotten different results than what you got now that you waited?
That's a great question. I don't know. Everything happens for a reason. Everything has its time. I think, I believe I would have been further along in life, but I think the timing, I wish I would have, right? I wish I would have been, and then that would help me in so many other areas of my life, not always wanting to be Robin and never want to be Batman. And what I mean by that, not always want to be somebody's second fiddle, not always want to, not being, my truly confident. Like a loud person that's braggadocious and really loud, they're that way because 9 times out of 10, they're hiding something. So they have to give off this real brave act because there's something inside them they don't want nobody to see. So they deflect. And that's what I was doing. So I wish I would have got this monkey off my back eons ago, but I'm glad I did got it off my back, because right now I'm definitely reaping the benefits of, being free from it.
Does this make you more protective of your kids?
Well, you have even if this would never happen, I'm a protective person. Like I'm protective of everybody that I love, not only my kids, like people know, like they know. So anybody knows me knows when it comes to, they know, but just, I'm a protective person in general, but yeah, you gotta be, you definitely have to be.
What did your mom say?
I actually wrote a book. It's called A Boy and His Joyless Smile. If y'all care to get the whole story, if you don't want the whole story to roll out via podcast, if you're impatient, I think, don't quote me, that the book is still, and I know this is a shameless plug, bite me. You can find that joint, on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. So I couldn't actually tell my mom, my whole life story because she had a lot of questions. So I actually wrote a book that I never promoted. It was just my way of telling my family members, this is what I've been dealing with all these years. Right. And, my father had passed before I had the time to wow. So my old man passed before I had the time to actually, get the book in his hands because there's no way, I could have sat down and had that conversation with him. So my thing was, I'm going to write this book and I'll put that in people's hands and they can read it. And then we'll sit down and have dialogue from there. But he passed. So I never got a chance to do that. But, so I never really got a chance to have that closure with him. But I did give the book to my mom. She read it. And then because my mother's been that's why I give both my parents were avid readers. But my mother devours books. If it's good, cup of coffee, that's back in the day when she smoked. She no longer smoked. But coffee, cigarette dangling from her lip, looking like a trucker. And she would run through a book. That's was her thing. So my mother boy, how you gonna paint me in that light? And you be all right, Mom, love you. So I told her, and then she called me crying because she wanted to answer. She wanted to know who did what. She was going, first of all, little lady, sit down somewhere. Them days are gone. And I told her of course, I deflected with humor. Not I'm fine now, but this is my whole story. So now you know the reasons why. And, we had a good talk. We really went down, quite a few rabbit holes. We had a good talk, and it definitely brought us closer.
Do you see those same family members?
Say again?
Have you seen those family members?
Once in passing, I was at work on the truck. And I seen them. Spoke and kept it moving.
How did that go?
It didn't. I mean, it's one of the arts that I had, one of the skills, and it's called compartmentalization. Most people feel like they have to confront their attack or a part of me wanted to be put their head underneath the tire as the truck was rolling down the street. But a part of me was just keep it pushing because I'm no longer defenseless. I'm a grown man that got size on me. I'm out of Southeast DC. Even the weakest dude out of Southeast DC can fight. And I'm not bigging up my city. That's how I don't know about now. I don't know about today. And I'm not judging, kids today. I'm just judging. I'm talking about back in the gap. Like the weakest, the whiniest kid threw hands. Because if you didn't get through hands, you got beat up every day, or you got body punched every day, or you got picked on. So you eventually had to learn to fight back. So, eventually I'm like, I'm kind of, half decent over here. So, but nah, I didn't see a need for any of that. I think I just, at that point in time when I did see him, I had yet to make peace with what was done. So I compartmentalized, put it away like it never happened. And so I've yet to see this person since then. But, if I did, I'm pretty sure I would pull up and have a conversation. I'm not going to do nothing physical. It's not fair, but I would definitely have a conversation.
Yeah. That's that tough adult conversation moment.
That's even more than that. Like, you.
That's peeling like a bandage and a whole. Yeah, that's
right. Because me personally, I didn't think I had. I won't say all of my childhood, but there's certain aspects of my childhood I didn't get to fully enjoy because of, right? Yeah, a lot of my, like, I didn't get to be that really rambunctious kid that I seen my other friends be. Like, I was cautious, you know what I mean? I was always, tentative, for, those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But, things happen, if I could change it, of course I would. But I will say this, it's going to sound crazy. Pain, hurt makes people who they are. Like, we all got to go through something. And I wish I didn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? But it made me who I am to this day. And there's so much more to my story. And like I said, if you be patient enough, you'll hear from the horse's mouth, right? As we increase in popularity and people go, digging and looking, things will, whatever. But in the same token, if y'all stay tuned, because I know you're nosy and I know we live in a nosy society. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to give y'all the whole spill on your boy, DK Walker, Lovable Asshole. If I had to change that, I would, this is going to sound crazy. I would love to say, yeah, I would, right? But we know if you take out one ripple, like if you throw a stone on some water and there's a ripple effect, and you take one out, you actually change the direction of the rest of the ripples. So like, that took great understanding. There's a lot of things in my life I wish I'd have never done, right? Like, I wish I never done, right? I wish I never would have done these things, right? So many, right? But in hindsight, I wouldn't be who I am today. And then people that rock with me, they rock with me. People that know my whole story, they rock with me. And I'm so appreciative of that. I think my man Jim Rome said, friends are people that know everything about you and they still like you. And that's what I have. People that don't, cool, not a problem. But people that know me, like such as yourself, Kern, like Kern has been like rocking since we met, in the DMs, not that way, people. I am an author. She inquired about a book. I shot it to her, and then she had a billion questions about the characters in the book. And then, I helped her write her book, and now here we are together, podcasting. And then, of course, my man Kenny, that's my little brother, love him to death. Oh, excuse me, I love him to life, And then, certain family members, like, they still rock with me. And that's all that matters. And as much as all these people I just named, and I love them, like I love me some Karen, I love me some my wife, right? I love my oldest daughter. I love my mother-in-law. I love my brothers, love my brother-in-law. Love my man Kenny, that's my other brother, you know what I mean? Not, how you claim somebody, like he's not even a friend, that's family through and through. As much as I love everybody I just named, I couldn't give a rat ass what they think at all, right? Because I got my blessing from my youngest, my youngest daughter was like, she don't care. I'm still in her eyes, once again, Superman. And I can never repay her for that unconditional love that she gives me. Like, y'all don't understand. I can't repay. So there's nothing I won't do. So if I got to unpack the bullshit of my past to have the best future possible, I got no problem with that. And then let the chips fall with where they may. But the reason that I answered that question, and small people know I was stalling because it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but I'm glad that, I grew some balls, like on the spot, like my balls got big about, that I was able to talk about it, right? But for me to be, once again, the best version I can be, and even for me, because if it's up to me, I'm cool in the shadows. I'm cool with the kiki and the kaka. I'm cool with being that dude. But that wasn't truly me. For me to be the best person I could be, and to be the best father I can be, I had to shake that bullshit off. And because I owe my youngest that, because she deserves the best of me.
Facts,
Cue John Legend.
Right.
Cue John Legend. Oh, me? Anyway.
Ooh, I'm so happy you stopped right there.
Hey, don't. Hey, once again, because I
No,
know I
no,
can't sing. I sing
right,
loud.
right. But no, that's funny that you said something about the DMs back when I had an online book club and it was reviewing everybody and anybody's
And
stuff.
you don't got to clean it up. People gonna think that when you say I jumped in your DMs, that's what they gonna think. So don't clean it up.
I know,
I know you. I know your male suitor's like, wow, really? Anyway,
right. But no, you know how you look back. Like now we're kind of being nostalgic and you kind of look back at where you are and where you're at. And I'm part of a small, very, very small part of me misses the online book club. It's a lot of work though. People have no idea. But I made a lot of great connections with that, authors and bloggers and all this kind of stuff. So, helps for where I'm at now. So I guess I got to answer the question now. And now,
yes. Let me ask you, Thorny Chic with your pointy ass. If there was one thing, just one, please don't pull a DK Walker. Don't be stalling.
Not today.
Don't do none of that. No. If there is one thing, uno momento. That's the only Spanish I know, by the way. Yeah,
you just said one
leche. I know what I said. Leche is milk. Yeah, and pollo is chicken. Pollo comparo, good chicken. Anyway, if there's one thing, I promise
no bueno. No bueno.
I don't know what the hell that means. Come on now. Don't test my...
good. No good.
So how you going? I'm over here faking Spanish and you want to pop off for real. If you want to sit your intelligent ass down somewhere. If there's one thing that you had to share with the podcast that they couldn't guess, let me go ahead and rephrase that question. They would not be able to guess, what would that thing be?
See, and I would pick something all light. Now I feel all, convicted. No.
No. You don't gotta, ain't no obligations over here. Right. Like that, before you answer, let me go ahead and, it's none. That was coming anyway.
Hush face. I got it. If I had to pick one thing that people normally do not guess about me, would be my music taste. People would just assume because whether you're light skinned or you're black, that there's just a certain amount of genres that you listen to. I am not a big mumble rapper fan.
Nobody that's not high is. Shots
fired. So people. I mean, that was a little more James Brown than
exactly. James Brown was the original mumble rapper. That's a t-shirt. Matter of fact, stop. Edit that part out. Cause I'm going to make that t-shirt. Like nobody ain't stealing that idea. James Brown was the original mumble rap. That's
shit out. Just so we're aware.
No. Yeah, because we recording this, so it's going to be at least 2 to 3 weeks before people hear this.
You got enough time for it to hit the Teespring account.
James Brown was the original mumble rapper. As soon as we done podcasting, I'm doing that. I promise you, that's a t-shirt. That's all talk. Yeah.
If y'all have not seen our collection of merchandise, there's Teespring.
We got some real nice. My bad for cutting you off. I apologize.
Entanglement t-shirts.
The logo boys, and then we got some other joints too. But don't tell them. We gonna show y'all. We don't want to tell y'all. So by the time it's gonna be 2 to 3 weeks. Today is the 6th. So I'm gonna say 3 weeks because we got 3 weeks exactly. So 3 weeks from Wednesday, you will definitely hear this podcast, and then you'll see the whole collection we've been working on. Because we do plan on going on tours. The podcast. That's what we do plan on doing, and we want to see y'all rocking our merch, not to sell y'all something. Okay, I just lied to you, of course, to sell y'all something, but just so that you're rocking with us, because we got a lot of crazy things, and when you see the t-shirts, they're dope. We really gave us some great thought, great effort, things of that nature. So anyway, I'm so wrong, and you told me to hush my face, but I didn't because I'm hard headed. That must mean I got a soft ass. I'll ask my wife, do I got a soft ass?
I'm sure she'll say no ass. Sandpaper.
Say again?
She might tell you need sandpaper.
I mean, I don't know. I might need a manscape to get the hair off my ass, but I digress. Partially Italian, I'm partially Italian. Okay, I just lied. I hate when people do that. I'm all these things. Like, if you don't sit your dog on, you're black. What you mean I'm cannibal Asian? You ain't Tiger Woods, motherfucker. Anyway, sweetheart.
Not Tiger Woods.
Nigga, Tiger Woods black. You can get your... I love Tiger. That's my man.
He found out the hard way that he black and they black.
he still don't rock with us, but we rock with you, Tiger. Like even you, but we still rock with you. You know what I mean? But we still rock with you. You go out there and do what you do, boy. You know.
Anyway. Yeah. So people really do. They're like, oh, do you listen to this? And I'm like, no, there's a lot of new rappers that if you ask me, I don't know, my kids might listen to it. And then I'm like, what are they saying? Huh? Especially now because in the world of TikTok, they're making all these videos to these songs. I'm like, what the hell? Do it, DK. Do it one time for the one time.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Like, I'm like, what are y'all listening to? Like, I don't know. I grew up in an era of, Public Enemy, KRS-One, Run DMC. So people would really be surprised by, what I listen to. And so, especially when I'm at work, because you just don't know what my mood is going to be until my radio starts. Because I normally play Spotify while I'm at work. And so I'm actually a big, rock fan, more so than pop. I mean, there's a couple, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good pop out right now. Sam Smith, Ariana Grande, stuff the kids listen to that I've kind of gotten sucked into, which quite as it's kept DK's a Sam Smith fan.
So you can't tell on me. Like people,
I absolutely can.
Like what? Bitch. I used to follow Sam Smith on Instagram until he started doing too much. Like, Sam, I love your music, but I don't need to see you naked, Sam. You just keep making these great songs. I rock with Sam. I promise you. I'd be singing Sam shit loudly. Like, I'd be on the back of the truck with my iPod. That's right. I said iPod. I'm that old. My iPod in my ear, because I got them old joints, that hold my music. I pray it never breaks down. And yeah, I put Sam on repeat, his first and second. I don't know if his first or second joint, not sure. But yeah, his latest joint, I put that, man, and I rocks out to that. So yeah, I do have great music. Like my music takes all over the place. Like, I love music that says something to me. Like, I don't just like to, it got to say something to me. So I can personalize it.
I had posted something or retweeted something, and somebody was like, oh, I didn't think you would listen to this artist. And the artist happens to be Melissa Etheridge. And I was like, really? I was like, I have like all of her albums, and there's so many good songs on there. But I guess the correlation was because of what her lifestyle is and her political stance that I guess, I wouldn't listen to it. And I was like, no, I'm actually pretty much a really big Melissa Etheridge fan. And since she came out, like
that's that light skin shit.
It could be. And, I went to school with all white kids. So, you get exposed to a lot of things. And I don't knock the hustle. I still like my AC/DC, my Aerosmith, my Pearl Jam, my Nirvana. There were a lot of really good groups. Shout out to Alanis Morissette. She got us through a whole, Jagged Little Pill got us all through something. Once upon a time, you ought to know. But Melissa Etheridge has a song that I absolutely adore. And one more so than all of the ones that came out, like, when I was first grade, second grade. But there's one called A Message to Myself. And so the premise of it is she says, I'm sending out a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I know that I'm fine and I know that I'm loved.
Oh, that's deep.
And I love that song so much. I play it like at least probably once a week because I just love the fact that she says that I'm sending it to myself. It's not like this song ain't for you. This is for me, so that when I hear my own voice, I know I'm okay. I know that I've made it, I've arrived, but at the end of the day that I'm loved, no matter, because Melissa Etheridge is a very open lesbian and very open about her political views and things like that. But I thought that message was so amazing. And so I was like, if we had to write a letter to our younger selves, what would we say? Which I think you've already tackled yours, unless you have more.
No. I mean, there's other things, but no, yeah, but no. That's the main thing to my younger self. Like, my bad. I'm definitely let you like that shit wasn't your fault. Like, nigga, get over that shit, nigga. That's the summary to my younger self. Like, what do you let that blanket go? You let that blanket go. Your name is not Linus. But go ahead.
So if I had to write a letter to my younger self, I would definitely tell my younger self. So I actually hate my name. I've never been very secretive about it. I do not like the name Kieran. I don't like the way my parents spelled it. But here's the thing I would tell myself is, one, Kieran will get you in the door. KK and K will make the way for you. Will blaze the trail for you. Your personality and your personality and your abilities will shine through. I would tell myself that thank God that he is God, because God has had to keep his hand on me. I mean, to the point now, looking back, like where we are now with the podcast, that's saying a lot. And two, thank God for keeping me, because quiet as it is kept, it is now no longer a secret, but your girl tried to commit suicide twice. in the house that I live in now. So that was a big thing, was me moving back here was, can you move to the place, to the point of where your hurt resides? And so I'm thankful that, you know, God really kept me and did not let the suicide attempts go through, that they were failed attempts. Because I definitely would have missed out on these 4 amazing human beings who have changed my world for the better. My niece, my nephew, and my 2 grandkids. Like, had I committed suicide and it worked, I now know, you know, what I would have missed, the life I would not have. And missing out on those 4 people who have changed my world forever, who make me every day a better version of myself. Like, I look at those 4 and I'm like, this is why, God, you kept me. This is why I'm here. The podcast is the reason why I'm here. To write is the reason why I'm here. Like, I understand more now than I did back then. And so if I had to tell myself anything, I would say trust the process. It's tough, but God will heal your brokenness. He will keep you in perfect peace. He will keep you and bring you to the place where you need to be. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, God, that, you know, your suicide attempt was just that, an attempt, and not, you know, completed. So I'm going to thank God for that. You know, you have added tremendous value in my life. Both personally and, you know, definitely professionally. Like, you know, we have a lot of fun here, people. We do. We really do. But like, you know, I don't let people in my circle, because I see people for who they are. One gift I have is looking past the bullshit, right? So I really don't let people, because you see the bullshit, right? Karen's great people. And I know I mess her name up. I know I pick on her for being like, you know, light, bright, and damn near white. I know I do a lot of things. I know y'all don't understand. Like, it is, let me, and I'm going to go into my questions. I don't want to get too deep into, but I'll ask questions, you know, in a minute. But I want to give people a little backstory to us. I really don't let people into my circle because I work hard. Like, I really work hard. Like, we've had ordered microphones, like, I want to say like over a year before we even started the podcast. Yep. But Karen had faith in me. Like, let me do her justice. Like, of course, I'm gonna talk dirty or crazy about her tomorrow, but today I'm gonna go ahead and put her on a pedestal and give her just desserts. Like, you know, no matter what crazy idea I came up with, she would research it, you know, break it down and, you know, see if it worked. And, you know, a lot of times it would be me who would drop the ball, whether we come to, like, you know, stalling out on the podcast, book stuff, the whole 9, getting the courses, you know, because we do have another business that we're rocking out to, and that's really starting to take off. You know, just need y'all to be a little bit more patient. I got another podcast that's about to, you know, do its thing. And she's been instrumental, you know, in my, you know, success. And I'm so grateful that, you know, that she's in my life. But that wouldn't have happened if, you know, her attempt would have been, you know, a successful one. So thank you, my Heavenly Father, in Jesus Christ's name, that you're still here with me to make me a better person, personally and professionally. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. I love you. You're one of a kind. Don't change, you know, stay your wild, crazy, moody, talkative, ADD having ass, because you got ADD. Yeah, I promise you. Like, if y'all, like, we're gonna start let y'all into the stuff before we get on the mic, before we hit the on switch. Y'all see what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure people have guessed it. I'm not an easy person to work with. I'm matter of fact. Like, okay, so I give myself the lovable asshole for shock value, because that's like, you know, like an oxymoronic statement. Like, how can you be lovable and asshole? So that's just my thing. It makes you think. And so, but behind the scenes, working with me, I'm Puff Daddy. Like, I'm just, let's go get this cheesecake.
No, you're definitely more Michael Jordan.
Oh, thank you. That's even better, because it's about results. And so I don't let nobody rest. If you're around me and we say we're gonna do something, even if I drop the ball, you're gonna do what I asked you to do, and until that's gonna make me do what I need to do. But we're gonna get to the promised land, and then I'm not gonna always be politically correct in getting us to the promised land. I guess the first question I need to ask you is, what led you to make the attempt on your life?
I think I was okay. No fluff, no filter. It was just being in a bad space. At the time I was probably 14 and 16. And so the first time, at the time my parents were married, they were living together, just a hostile living space. They'll try to fluff and filter you and say, oh, it wasn't that bad. They didn't argue every day. I'm sure their children, my sister and I, will give you a completely different scenario because we lived it. It was like World War III. I mean, something simple like this, I don't know, like a wet towel in the bathroom could go off into something else. Just depends on, who was going to start what or who was going to say what. And, now that I'm an adult, I can look back and just look at my parents and realize, they were two people who really by the time I was like in first grade just had stopped loving each other, who needed to go their separate ways. And so instead they decided to, and have two kids and put them through school because my parents put us, in private schools and things like that. They chose to spend their money wisely. And so when they had gotten to the point where they really could not tolerate each other anymore, it just got toxic. And so when you live in that every day, all day, and then the other thing that they were so kind of pivotal about is not letting anybody else know. So we had to always, no matter how hellish it was at home, by the time you hit the door to go to school, you had to just pretend, put on your happy face and pretend that everything was okay. And that becomes taxing because I'm going to school, trying to do my best, make them happy, because just like you got the 8 rules for MJ, my dad has his 10 commandments that are literally posted on your door. And, education is a very important thing to him because his mother was a teacher. And both my parents being immigrants, they're very, very particular about your education. Education is one of the top priorities that they have. And so, I'm, killing myself to make the grade at an early age. And so their fighting kind of just led to me being in a bad headspace. And then you get to the place where, your parents argue and you take the blame. Like maybe if I wasn't here, then X, Y, and Z. And if I wasn't here, rah, rah, rah. And so when that idea kind of went from a seed to a plant, I decided that I was going to take a bottle of Tylenol and take a bottle of my dad's vodka and wash them down together. And my goal was to go to sleep and never wake up. The opposite of what happened was I did wash the bottle of Tylenol down with the bottle of vodka, and I slept all night peacefully and woke up the next day with the bottle, I think, still in my hand. Or it was on the floor, one or the other, but it was like upright. The second time I tried, I was home by myself and was going to slit my wrist. Now, the fallacy of this is if you watch too many movies, especially sci-fi or of Lifetime, not knocking either entity, you will get the wrong idea about how to slice your wrist. So if you, and I'm not telling anybody to go research it, that's not what I'm here for, but movie magic has it where you'll think it's one way and it's completely different. But I was in the process of sitting in the bathtub, was going to slit my wrist, and lo and behold, who would come walking through the house and busting through the bathroom door? None other than my mother. So, just being in a bad headspace is just really what got us there, and not being able to tell anybody what was really going on at home. I mean, we weren't physically abused, sexually abused, or anything like that, but it's just a toxic environment.
Okay. So, how difficult was it for you to actually be this forthcoming right now?
It's not as hard now as it was maybe, I'd give myself 10 years ago, maybe not even 10, because Gavin's 8. And then the reason I'll say 8, I'll give myself at least 8 years because Gavin's 8. So the thing about it is that people who don't have mental health issues or don't understand this psychology, it's easy for everybody from the outside looking in to be like, you have a 2-parent home, you live in the suburbs, you go to private school, you have. But the thing is, at the end of the day, what we have failed to realize is that having stuff does not make you happy. It doesn't fill a void. I have amazing parents. I have amazing tribe that helped raise me. And I could have reached out and said anything, but because you're as a child, you don't want to make your parents seem a certain way. And I didn't want to be deemed as crazy either, because on my dad's side, there is mental issues and they were hospitalized. And so you don't want to be deemed crazy. You don't want to be on meds, but I suffer with what's called suicidal ideation. So it's the thought process of it. So now I've gone from the attempts to just the thought process of it. So if I get really, really upset or if I get really, really depressed, then the thought process can go. And then I never really would act on it, but I still had that space. And so I remember specifically Gavin was probably about a year and a half. And like I said, he's 8 now. And he was taking a nap. And I honestly just blacked out, like forgot he was there. And I was standing in my kitchen. I was living in my apartment at the time. And I don't remember exactly what triggered me, but I was just thinking, I was sitting there doing the dishes or something. And I thought of, I know now how to slit my wrist. So if I take this butcher knife and do it, then this will all be over. And I was just sitting there with the knife in my hand, really not moving, not doing anything. And Gavin started to cry, and I dropped the knife into the drawer that I was going to put it in. And I went to go get him because at the time he was having what's called night terrors. And so I'm trying to coddle him, and he's crying, and I'm sitting there crying. And I was just like, God, I have got to get over, like, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep doing this. And I got myself into counseling and things like that. So since that moment, going into counseling and getting a handle on it, and what got me there and kind of being in front of the train instead of behind the train, it just made it easier. Like once you kind of take ownership of what is yours, of your stuff, when you can take ownership of what is yours, your quote unquote weakness, when you make your weakness yours, nobody else can use it as a weapon against you, because you're like, okay, yeah, like if somebody listens to it and now they try to shoot back, oh, you try to commit suicide. Yeah, that's kind of old news.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that. And if it's fresh news, it's just like the perspective is like, I got this saying, and it's really simple, but the sun is coming up tomorrow. Like, no matter what you know about me, no matter what you think of me, the sun is coming up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Like, I gave that list earlier about who people opinions matter to me. Like, if it ain't my daughter's, like, and that's real, like, it doesn't matter. And once me and her sat down and I gave her my spiel, like the whole spiel, right? She looked at me like, what are we talking about? Like, my baby's so dismissive, so time. She like, look at me like, okay, and what do we, like, I'm hungry. Like, and then I asked her, how was that? And then she, okay, yeah, you still my dad. And it's kind of crazy because the time that, I gave her, the whole spiel, we were standing in an apartment that was like, shit, last year, right? I haven't been in my house a year. So we had walked some friends out, this is what happened. We was in an apartment and the people above us, their apartment had caught on fire. So it was just a madhouse. So in the waters, sprinklers had kicked on, and it took the fire department forever to come in. And by the time all our stuff was soaked, like furniture, TV, my wife was smart enough to grab laptops, phone, wallet, and the rest of the stuff. She actually rode to the back of the house. She was, really, she was really on her game that day. I was up, running throughout the hallways, banging on the doors, trying to get people out. So, we were trying to do our little bit, and, we finally got everybody out, whatever the case may be. So the fire department came in, and by that time the sprinkler system had put out the fire, but the ceiling had collapsed. So not only was our stuff in the living room damaged beyond being salvaged, the ceiling collapsed on top of that. So it was just a real shit show, to say the least. So long story short, like I said, I was having that conversation, and I don't mean to go back into my stuff, but just, I would guess I'm still peeling that onion. We had to go to a hotel, for a minute, but actually they stuck us in a motel, and my wife, she, Nikki that shit. Like she don't give a damn. She is Mrs. Cut her nose off to spite her face. So she didn't allow the unit, the property manager, put us into any rinky-dink joint. She was like, she went off, and of course they accommodated us. And so by the time I had to clean up, to get the stuff out, or help clean up, should I say, get the stuff out. And my man Kenny came over. And like I said, I don't let people in my life. I don't. You got to be family. Like, I speak to a lot of people. I'm like, if you see when we go on tour, I'm speaking this to existence. COVID is not going to last forever. We're going to go on tour. We're going to come to your city. We're going to have fun. We're going to kiki and kaka. We're going to do a podcast live, and y'all, ask us, the questions there. Live audience and all that jazz there. But so my man Kenny come over, family. Once again, I told him what happened. I told him what happened, and then he was like, "Yo, I don't got your address. Text me your joint." So I texted to him. I wasn't expecting nothing of it. It was a lot of stuff. Like, next thing I know, like, I went to the trash. I come back downstairs because we live in the basement, apartment. He already in the space walking up. That's family. So that's the difference between friends. My man owns a trucking business. His trucking business gross, almost $500,000. Like, so he dropped that. And like, my man need me. So when I tell you family, like, y'all be so big to holler up your friends, right? I don't got no friends. That's the running joke in my household. Daddy don't got no friends. You damn right. Daddy got family. I don't give nobody that title. Like, I really do not get, like, you got to be somebody special to me to get that title. So anyway, me and him sitting down chopping it up, and he was like, like, because always, I gave him my spiel, the whole shebang, you know what I mean? And then, we got to talk to my mama, and I told him, like, one day I got to tell her, like, what's stopping you right now? Like, you don't want her to come about your information via somebody else. It's your place to have that and tell us. So after we got most of the stuff out, the stuff that, couldn't be salvaged, we put it in the dumpster, and we sat there for about a good hour and a half. Then we left there, got something to eat. We said our goodbyes, pieced up. He rolled out. I went back to the hotel where we were standing at. So Nikki had some friends over, and they were leaving. And so we walked them to the car. Nikki went back in, and it was just me and her. And then, she, grabbed me by my hand, and we playing because, we were both big wrestling fans. So we stay fake wrestling all day long. And so I stopped and said, Daddy, I got to talk to you about something. And so, we went back to where our car was about that. And, we was leaning on the car, and, I ran it down to her, and she just had this look on her face like, whatever. And so I asked her, how did she feel? She was like, you still my father. I still love you. You're still my daddy. And from that, fuck around, start crying. From that moment on, like, I don't understand what freedom is. Like, it don't even, so when I say the sun is coming up, right? I mean, the literal sun is coming up tomorrow, right? But I also mean figuratively, my daughter's still alive and kicking. So as long as those two things is all right in my life, I could give a rat's ass about public opinion. People won't have their 2 cents. So when they hear this podcast and whether they empathize, sympathize, be sympathetic, or they troll us, I mean, suck one. Don't care. It doesn't make a difference. It don't.
You know what?
And that's just the thing about really gaining freedom. And sometimes you got to, if you're going to be in the public light, you got to unpack your bags, and it is what it is. Malcolm X said it best: you don't want nobody to use, information against you. So when he got into the spotlight, he ran it all down. You know what I mean? And he was a brave man for doing that. But once he did that, he couldn't be marginalized. They couldn't hold that over his head. Like the government couldn't hold that over his head. Like they did Jesse Jackson when Jesse Jackson had the doggone his daughter down in Florida that was 2 years old. And then, Jesse stayed running for president. Hey, Jesse, sit your ass down somewhere. You got a daughter. You was a reverend. You got a daughter outside your marriage. Sit down. I'm not passing judgment. But what it is, his daughter was of age, and that knowledge wasn't public. But as soon as he got too big for his britches, that knowledge became public, and they held it over his head. My thing is, I don't give a damn what you know, what you gonna know, what you gonna. It don't matter. Like my daughter think I'm Superman. I'm great in the world. The people that know me, that know everything, like they love me. They even love me when they love me even when they don't even like me. And I'm not even a likable guy. Henceforth being an asshole. Ask Karen, she'll tell you like, yeah, right about now, I'm not even going to answer this man's call because I'm so sick of him.
Man, if anybody ever knew the arguments over, and then sometimes it'd be like over nothing.
Yeah, I won't say that. I can't listen, sometimes you just
sometimes I'm just difficult.
Hush your face.
Sometimes I'm just difficult to be difficult.
Right. And I'm like, and then it's like, but it's cool though. We're not going, that's another rabbit hole.
Right.
So
but you know what I thought about though, listening to you tell MJ, I've never had that conversation with my kids.
I mean, I don't, if it's not weighted on you, then I don't, I can't give advice. I had to do that because, I just want my baby to, so I didn't know everything about my old man. He passed, and I never had to sit down and have that conversation. God, bless him too. He turned, that's my dude. Like he was difficult. You know what I mean? He was one of a kind. But I get him so much now. The older I get, the more I get him. Mm-hmm. It's like younger, I didn't understand. Younger, I didn't understand the back and forth between him and my mom because like your household, my place was physical. You say yours wasn't, mine was. It's cool. So I actually stayed in the house to hopefully stop them going shooting like the fucking Hatfields and the McCoys. Like so, I stayed in the house. Like I was like, okay, they'll be calm. Because I'm in the house, ain't you know what I mean? Sometimes that worked, sometimes it didn't. And I didn't approve of it. I didn't, whatever the case may be. But as I got older, I just understood my old man more. And then having conversations with my father, having conversations with my mom, that wasn't always your father's fault. I would push his buttons. And I'm like, oh, now you want to tell me after he's dead. After I'm always running to your defense, like he wasn't always like, but once again, the son is always, I don't give a damn what a mom gonna do. A son gonna rock out with his mother, irregardless. The father can walk home, mother can be butt naked in bed with the mailman. She ain't do no wrong. You know what I mean? You should be more of a man. her son is going to champion his mother on irregardless, just like daughters would do with their father. Just like, he a piece of shit, but he my piece of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
it is with that.
Dare y'all say something about my daddy and see if I don't act a fool. But the thing with my kids, though, is there's two things. And I guess because going from that into a space where you're like, oh, I own it, it's mine, you can't use it against me. It's two things. One, I didn't really talk to my parents about it until, I will tell you, when I talked to my mom about it, I don't remember if I've ever really said much to my dad about it, because he's just not that. My dad's just not one of those guys. He's not really touchy-feely. He's more or less, do you need therapy and do I need to pay for it type. And it's not that he's uncaring. He just doesn't know how to process girls' emotions. He's just not. He really should have had sons, because he's a tough guy.
Right. Tell him he can help me with my mortgage if he wants to, since he's not
right. He's just not, like, he's the guy you go talk about, like, Dad, this is my mortgage rate when I wanted to go get a car. Like, he's the person I talk to when I want to get a new credit card or something like that. That's what he comes in. But like the girly, touchy-feely, super emotional stuff, don't go talk to him about that. Go ask him about facts, figures, and numbers. Like, that's his specialty. But I don't think I really ever had that conversation with my dad. But when I remember having it with my mom was Anthony Bourdain had committed suicide. And we loved his show, loved him. We thought, that was like our cousin. We followed him faithfully since, he probably had his first show. And she said she couldn't understand what everybody kept saying about him and chasing his demons. And so we sat down and had a conversation. I said, there's some demons that you inherit and there's some demons that you pick up. And so, like, with you being molested, that's something you inherited because somebody gave that to you. And something you pick up can be an addiction. It could be, you just end up in you end up in a relationship with somebody and then you kind of pick up their stuff. So I then said to her, this is where I'm at and this is how I can say this. And this is, and so I explained to her and she started to kind of be a little emotional because she was just like, my kids were self-harming and I didn't realize it. Like she realized that she was so wrapped up in her and my dad that the children that she was raising that lived in her household were self-harming themselves and she had no idea.
Yeah.
And so then I sat down and I blogged about it, which you guys didn't know. I'm a blogger too, author, blogger, podcaster. And then but I never think about that my kids can go read that because it's public knowledge.
Right. But, so what are you going to do?
Well, the thing is this, I have purposely created a space for them where it's the opposite of how I was raised. I check in with them all the time, from the oldest to the youngest, as much as I can. Because everybody's got devices. So, I send them a little text, but like, especially with my niece and my nephew and my daughter, I always ask like the important questions. And I always try to make sure that they have a space that they can be open in it. Like, especially because my daughter's grown. Like, if she feels like she got to come to me and go off about something and she curses, then I'm okay with that. Like, I know she's not cursing at me. She's cursing about the situation. And like with my niece and nephew, especially because my niece is now, about to be a freshman in high school. And this is, where she's going to start being influenced by a lot of things. I take the time out to really ask her questions about how she feels, how she moves, what she thinks about things. I've given them a space to a certain degree where they know, like, no matter what happens, they can come to me and talk to me about it. I'm not going to judge them. I can't assure them that I'm not going to flip out. I can't. But they know that my reaction will be appropriate to what is going on in that situation. Like, if someone does something to them, I'm possibly going to be wearing an orange suit tonight. And they know that's going to happen. They know that they aren't going to go off and defend them, or their mom's going to go off and defend them. Gigi is definitely going to act a fool. But, I'm so thankful for who they are as each individual child. Like, when Leah was born, I was in the middle of a medical scare. And I remember being high as a kite on pain meds, and she was sitting on the end of the couch in her little bimbo thing, and it's a little pillow that you sit them in. I knew you were going to ask me what a bimbo is. And not that kind. Not the one on the corner. Not that bimbo.
Hey.
Not that one.
You were being presumptuous. Like, you're being presumptuous and you limited my knowledge. It's all right.
Listen, you ain't had a baby in a while. But she was sitting there, and I remember turning, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, she was a couple months old, and I was like, oh wow, like she really is cute. She really is. And I really started to like really think about like how I intentionally want to impact her life. I thank God for Gavin because, you know, at the time, like I said, the last time I had suicidal ideation, literally, I don't know what would have happened if Gavin didn't cry, you know, from his nap. I don't.
Yeah,
I
so
really don't. So, you know, I owe a lot to Gavin. I think Gavin is, you know, Gavin probably is my favorite child because, you know, I feel like in a certain way I'm indebted to Gavin's existence because had Gavin not cried, I can't tell y'all what I would have done.
Right. Well, you know, God uses everything. So
yeah.
Just to say the least.
And the thing about Gavin is so much me sometimes that I'll be like, Jesus, you didn't bless me with kids, but you blessed me with Gavin. And therefore, here we are. My granddaughter, unfortunately was stillborn. And so that was a whole, you know, thing that you have to deal with and, you know, helping my daughter through that. And now I have Landon and he's the 2-year-old and he's definitely the leader of the band. But I look at each of them and, you know, I'm just thankful that I've been able to create a space for them to grow properly and to be able to express themselves and not deal with what I dealt with, but equally for their existence to make me better.
Cool. Well, you know, that's a good look on your part. Like, and that's the thing. You don't take that with you. And I think, you know, that's the beauty of being a parent. You have to realize what worked for you as a kid and what didn't work. Mm-hmm. And you take the things that did work and you expound upon those. Right. So like, you know, with my old man, he wasn't like your old man. I guess they, you know, from that generation, they definitely had touchy feely in the whole nine. You know, he was just a matter of fact dude. Like my father really, in retrospect, my father did not talk a lot. He would, you know, he'll drop a nugget. You know, like he'd come home, it's crazy, before I work construction, then he started driving dump trucks. So he'd come in the house, you know what I mean, sit down, find out what's going on, you know, he might speak, might not, you know what I mean, go take a shower, come back out, you know, he expect his dinner to be on the table, he'd eat, depends on how tired he was, he might eat in his doggone recliner, and you know, it's kind of crazy, sometimes he'd almost finish eating, and then, you know, go to sleep, and it was magical how the plate never hit the floor. It'd just he'd snore and the plate me and my brother, my middle brother would watch. Like, oh, it's gonna hit today, the chicken would roll around on the plate, never leave it. I don't understand how he did it.
I mean, they had some talent back there. Yeah,
I did not understand how he did it. As soon as you touched it, because all we had was one TV back in the gap. As soon as you touched the TV, I was watching that. How the hell you was snoring? You wasn't watching shit.
Man, they would sit up like the Undertaker.
What? Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
Like,
or the eyes open up and
right. They look at you like you would say, wait, you've been snoring for a good 30 minutes. How you all of a sudden?
Right. But you bet not touch that TV.
Bet not.
So, you know, I took from him, whoa, my bad. As my phone rings. I'm sorry, podcast. I should have cut my phone off. That's really not professional of me. Forgive me. It is what it is. And we're not going to edit this out, by the way. That's how much we love y'all. Anyway, so what I took from my old man, because I cut it off, that's what happened. You get to be my age. What I took from him was, you know, I'll tell you in a hot second, as soon as I do cut my phone off, that's my code, damn it. You're not going to accept my code. I'm not buying no new phone. There we go. So what I took from my old man was, you know, hard work. No matter, you provide. You provide, you provide. Like, I don't care what's going on. You make sure you take care of your household. You provide. Like, there was other things, right? You know, and he'd drop, you know, a great nugget. It wasn't deep. You know, he was never deep with it because he wasn't talkative, right? I get that from my mom. So, you know, he'd drop a nugget here and then he was a provider. And once every blue moon, he would definitely treat us like, you know, it's back in the gap. You know, we'll shoot to, going to the drive-in, you know what I mean? He'd take me to McDonald's here and there, you know. It's just certain things that he did to let us know that he loved us, but he was never that guy. Now, Benzo, he wasn't that guy. I'm that guy. Like, I'm that guy so much, my daughter be looking at me like, man, if you don't get away from me, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm beautiful, yeah, I'm smart, yeah, you love me. Man, if you don't, hey, like, she'd be looking at me like, can I get some space? And so she, like, but I want her to know that she's loved, like, you know, and not have to think about it, not have to, you know, let it be guesswork, you know. So, you do take what works and you definitely leave what doesn't work. And I've done that. You know, but like I said, I've said this in previous podcasts, like, I don't have perfect parents, but they were the perfect parents for me.
Mm-hmm. And it takes you a while to get there. I think parenthood definitely makes you reflective, and grandparenthood makes you even more reflective, because you definitely can see the error of all three generations. So when you get to the grandchild, it's like bubble wrap and discipline at the same time.
Facts.
It's bubble wrap and discipline, because like my daughter disciplines him too much, and I'm like, oh my poor baby. But then when he act a hellion, I'm like, yo, come here.
You don't bring your little, but if you don't bring your, if you
get over here, get over here. And then he puts his head down and he pouts. I'm like, I didn't even correct you yet, but you know you're wrong.
And then you so y'all should, man, say y'all don't have that privilege to actually, be on the phone with Karen when she's pretending to be a disciplinarian. Like, it's so funny, right? Like, if you don't sit your marshmallow ass down somewhere, I ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight. Stop it. You kids got you wrapped.
He does. Now let me tell you, that grandson of mine, he definitely does. If he calls and fussing and complaining, it's gonna be some smoke in the city for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I know that's right.
He definitely has me wrapped around his finger as soon as he goes, G.
I ain't mad at you.
What? So what happened?
I promise you, I understand. People think it's the one, I'm the one that's spoiling mama, but that's Nikki. Like, it's kind of crazy. She has me wrapped, but I don't spoil her. Like, I give her what I believe she needs. But as spoiling her, my wife's such a sucker. Like, I promise you, I'm like, y'all kill me, man. It is what it is. Anyway, we've been going on and on and on and on and on, and we don't want to go on to the break of dawn. So we need to close up shop here, people. Before I let Karen do what she needs to do, I just want to thank y'all for listening. If you if you listened up until this point, thank you. And even if you didn't listen up to this point and you bailed out early, thank you too, with your short attention span having ass.
Join the ADD club like me.
Yeah, to say the least, right? But we gave y'all very intimate parts of ourselves. There's more to come. But we didn't share this, for sharing's sake. We shared this in hopes to help somebody that might be in a suicidal state of mind. We shared this in hopes of helping somebody that may have been molested and blaming themselves and carrying that weight, that undeserved weight around with them. Like I said earlier, man, we have fun here. We love what we do. I promise you. I'm geek when we don't record for a minute. Like, I'm in my feelings. Like, I actually love to get on the microphone and, do what I do now. Whether I'm helping somebody, being impactful for their lives, being, a fake ass comedian, I don't even care. But I just love getting behind this microphone and, sharing, me with y'all. And so that's what we wanted to do with this podcast, man. We really, above all our other podcasts to this date, we really went out of our way to help y'all, but more so help ourselves. So once we get to talk about it, it's therapeutic. And in doing so, we're helping somebody else. So it's a win-win situation for, everybody across the board.
Absolutely. Listen, you guys could be anywhere. And y'all are anywhere and everywhere in the world. And week after week, you choose to rock out with us. And for that, we are so, so thankful. I'm just thankful right now, not only for my life, but, to witness what God is blessing me with, not only business wise, but professionally, in my 9-to-5 here with the podcast, as well as our other businesses, as DK had mentioned before. And, seeing my kids grow up, seeing my grandkids, it's a good thing. Y'all could be anywhere, and yet y'all rock out with us. Y'all are making two people's notions and dreams, really come true. And my voice is going where my feet have yet to travel. So for all the love that you give us, thank you. And for all the love that we give y'all, we hope you are so growing and benefiting and healing and moving and growing and doing what you need to do. There's so much more coming from this Thorny Chick alongside her co-host, the Lovable Asshole DK Walker. We're going to give DK the mic for the one time. We're going to put this baby to bed. And then we're going bye-bye.
Okay. So, you didn't mention the Daily Love Jones. Yeah.
Listen, they've been listening long enough. They know what this is.
Oh, they know what this is? I actually think the whole podcast was a Daily Love Jones, to be honest. This is what I think, right? I think the whole podcast was a 90-minute Love Jones. But I'm going to be just real. Believe it or not, I'm going to be short. Short as shit. I'm going to be short as my height, right? Pain is not to be suffered for your whole life. Like whatever you're going through, pardon me, you don't have to go through it for your whole life. You don't. No matter what because we all go through something, especially with this whole COVID-19 and Congress doesn't know what they're going to do far as extending, monies that's definitely needed. People are unable to pay mortgages, and rent. And what happens is people now start to be evicted, which is sad. So pain is not meant to be carried your whole life. So no matter what you're going through, no matter what you went through and still, harboring, find a way to let it go. I don't care if you got to talk to a licensed therapist. I don't care if you got to talk to your best friend. I don't care if you got to stand on the corner and just talk to God. You got to find a way to let it go. And doing so, when you let it go, what you'll start to hold on to is the promise of a better you. Flat out, bottom line. Look, we love y'all. And I'm not saying this because it's cool to say. No, we honestly, genuinely love y'all because, if we didn't, we wouldn't have gave y'all what we just gave y'all. But like I said, it was honestly for me, it was more so for me than for you. So that's me loving me. And with that being said, I need y'all to start to love yourself. Like if you've been through something, love yourself. If you're going through something, love yourself. Love yourself enough to let the pain go. You owe you that. Thank you.
Very much so. Very much so. This is the Love Is Podcast. It's your girl, that Thorny Chic, Karen KK Rose. To follow us on our social media, follow the show notes. Also, if you want to text us some things that you're going through, or you want to have a conversation about, maybe navigating some things that you're going through, our number that you can text us at is there as well. Again, this is your girl, the Thorny Chic, Karen KK Rose, alongside her co-host, the lovable asshole, Mr. DK Walker. DK, tell the people bye.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
That's not what I told you to do.
That's what I did, though.
Tell the people.
Peace.
This episode of the Love Is Podcast has ended, but please be sure to subscribe for more great content on sex, entrepreneurship, life, love, and how to get through the BS of it all. And don't forget to rate and leave a review so we can continue to bring more of that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, and, dare I say, the lovable a-hole, Mr. DK Walker. See you